Hey, it's Jag. I think it's time to do something about this bench.
Yeah.
This workbench has been here since we bought the house. It was built in right to the wall. I did detach it so I can move it away, and it's actually fairly strongly built. It's very solid, very robust. It's got some nail construction here. Looks like it may be all assembled with nails. It's very solid. It doesn't shake or wobble. It's quite heavy. So as I said in the intro to this whole shop remodel series, I want to fix this up and use it as my main workbench. Today is the day that I'm going to clear this bench, bring it out, and take a look at it, assess what needs to be done. Maybe by the end of this video, I will have it where I want it. I don't think so. I want to do some things to make the top a little better. I'm not going for a perfectly flat top. I want a reasonably flat top that I can work on. One thing I will do is I'm going to take the top boards off and probably mill the sides down so they fit together better. Right now I've got gaps, about 1/4 of an inch gap here, about an eighth of an inch gap, eighth of an inch gap. And what I really want is the top to fit together really tightly. I probably will laminate these boards together. And then when I put the top back on, I'll use screws to fasten it down so I can take this top off and replace it at any time, or even take a scrub plane and flatten it. That would be something I wouldn't mind doing with this down the road. I also have some other dimensional lumber sitting over here that I can use if I want to make the top a little deeper. I don't want it any deeper than 24 inches. I can reach 24 inches very comfortably when I'm working on things without having to lean over. 30 inches is a little too far. I've discovered that with this countertop over here, which I also will be cutting down to 24 inches. So the first order of business is to get everything off of this so I can drag it out here and see what kind of shape it's in and what I can do with it. The other problem here is with this bench sitting here, I've just kind of used it as a catch-all. Like I said in the intro to this whole remodeling series, I kind of just put things down wherever they'll fit, and then I end up with a huge mess, and I can't find things, and it just makes me not want to work out here sometimes. So obviously what I'm taking off of here is a bunch of that stuff, and I'm going to pile it up on that one over there. Another thing I got to do once I get this out of here is there is a big gap between the footing of the garage and the floor, the concrete floor. It goes from at the front maybe about a 1/16 of an inch. At the back there's about a little over a centimeter, I think, a little over, pretty close to 3/8 of an inch at the back here. And I have seen mice go in and out of this shop through that crack. So I've got some tight foam sealer. I'm going to seal that crack. I also think the reason that the mice go in there is I think they actually nest under this shelving unit. I have heard them scurrying around too. So we don't have them in the house, so that's great, but I think they go in under here. So that's another reason why I want to take this shelf down. So I'm going to, once I get this bench out, I'm going to spray this foam in here, and hopefully when I get this shelf down, we can deal with whatever's happening there and discourage them from going into the shelves on the other side of the wall. I'll deal with that as a separate project. When I build the tool wall, whatever else I put in here, I'm going to do my best to keep everything off the ground 3-4 inches, and probably leave those open so that I can get under there with a broom, sweep stuff out. I can check and make sure there's no things like mice nesting under. I suppose we could get a squirrel in here too. I hear them running across the roof all the time. I like the squirrels, they don't bother us. So a little aside there, but that's what this is for. So let's put it somewhere where I'll forget it and spend 20 minutes trying to find it. I rarely ever need to refer to this stuff. I put it in bags so it won't get all dusty and dirty, but I'm never really sure where to keep them, and I'm not really sure I want to build a cubby out here for them. Where am I putting them right now? Right there. That's a good spot. So I can't believe how many little boxes of offcuts I have everywhere. That's another one to make a note for storage. I have sort of medium offcuts, and it's all hardwood. I usually don't keep offcuts of dimensional lumber if it's clearly not going to be usable. But a lot of the hardwood, well, most of those are anywhere between 8 and 16 inches. So I can use those things. I've got a whole one cardboard box full of it there. I've got some piled up over there. I have a big bin full of it down here. And I also have a large box of offcuts that are supposed to go in the fire and they never make it there. So probably those will go to the eco station. So this is an old sort of, I guess it's a tabletop. I don't know, my mom used to use it. She would put it on her armchair and play solitaire on here. This is kind of cool, got a lot of character. Maybe I'll make some kind of little stand or something out of it. Anyway, well, this is a surprisingly well-built bench. As I said, it was here when we moved in. I think this may have been built recently after the house was completed, which would make this bench well over 40 years old. And it has stood the test of time. It's dirty and seen a lot of work. I've done a lot on it over the time we've lived here. And judging by the look of the shelf down here, the guy who built it was more of a car guy, which in the 70s, 80s, that would have fit. That was the pastime. It's very, very solid. It will rack a little bit, but it's heavy. Probably, I don't know how to estimate the weight, but if I try to lift it, I cannot easily do that. Let's just say it's heavy enough. It's going to work quite well. I half expected to get this out and realize I would have to completely disassemble it, reclaim the wood, and rebuild a new bench. I don't think I'm going to have to do that, and I'm really glad. I got a lot of other things I want to do. It would be awesome to build a bench, but if I were going to do that, I would build a real woodworker's bench and make it really solid. And I don't have the time for that right now. Maybe I can do that in a couple years or whatever. It is all assembled using nails. It's very solid. It does not move too much. It'll hardly rack at all. The wobbliness I was feeling was because my floor is not level, so it's wobbling on the floor. I do like that it's open at this end down here, which was the end that was up against the shelves here, so there was no need for the builder to close that end in. It is closed in here, and I don't like that. I would like to have this open all the way around so I can clamp and do work holding, maybe put an end vise on one side or the other, or a leg vise. So I'm going to take, there's a little lip on here, and these, six slats. I'm going to take them off and see if it's still as solid. If it's not as solid, I guess I'll put them back on. There are some trim pieces here that don't need to be here I'm going to take off. I'm going to strip this down, all the things I don't think I need on here. I probably will drill some holes and put some maybe large lag bolts or long bolts in all these joints so I can just tighten it up that much more and make it that much more solid. Back to things I don't like. I do like that there's a shelf here. I don't like that it's so high. It's about halfway up. And if it were down farther, I could put more on it. But the benefit of it being that high up is if it were lower, I could put more on it. This will really keep me from piling things in there and then just forgetting about them. What I think I might do is I have some bins that I think will fit perfectly in there. So I'll put things that I will use at this bench in here, or maybe make some drawers or something to put in there. And that will still leave me room on the sides, in the back, and the front for clamping and work holding. There's a row of nails here, row of nails here, row of nails here, and one here. So it is supported by 2x material in the middle. And it, like I say, it is really solid. The top does not really flex at all. The shelf is really solid. So what I'm going to do is take the trim pieces off that I don't think need to be on here. Check how solid it is. I do have some retractable casters I got for, actually they're good ones, but I got them on a really good deal. And I want to put them on because I want to be able to, this bench will primarily live more or less right here in the shop, but I want to be able to roll it back to the wall or out of the way when I bring my table saw out to this area to work. So probably first thing I'm going to do is probably take these trim pieces off, make sure this is still solid enough, make sure that doesn't make this wobbly. If it doesn't, I will put those flip down casters on, and then I'm going to take these pieces that make the tabletop off. I'm going to run them through my planer, get them flatter. They are a little bit, this one's a little bit cupped this way. These two, that one's a little cupped. These two seem pretty flat, but I'll run them through my planer just to get them reasonably flat. And then I'm going to trim the sides and laminate this together. I may lose some depth. If I do, I have some other wood. I can cut some more strips to put in here to make up the distance. This is not quite 24 inches deep. It's about 22 and a half, 23. It's going to work perfect. It's easy for me to reach here. It's easy for me to work. It's a good height. So I'm going to get to taking those pieces off. I'm going to do that off camera. When I've got it done, I'll come back. I'll show you what I've taken off, and we'll decide which part of this we're doing next. Well, that's all of the unnecessary bits taken off. 6 boards that were on the side. A couple of little trim pieces that were no longer needed, and a rather substantial handful of 2.5-inch nails. Next thing I'm going to do is turn this on its sides, bang all the nails in on the legs and sides so that they're good and tight, put those casters on the bottom, then I'll turn it back over and take the top off. Well, I hammered in all the nails, made sure they're all seated in there nice and tight, and the bench does seem even a little more solid. I am going to put screws in there as well, but that will be for another video, not today. But how about a mid-episode unboxing? So here is the box that the casters came in. I've already opened the box, but I haven't taken anything out. So we open it up, and we got the retracting mechanism and the casters. So they look like pretty decent casters. Yeah, they're nice solid casters. A lot of what you need for the installation, all of the actual hardware, of course. That wrench is pretty Mickey Mouse. I probably won't use it. The retracting mechanism, you kick it up, and the caster comes up. When you're ready to move it, you kick it down, and caster drops down onto the floor. Instructions, and a template for mounting the casters. So there you are. Everything that came with this caster kit. These I got them on Amazon. They're called Space Care Workbench casters. This is the 600-pound set. I'm not going to do a lot of heavy stuff on this bench, so a 600-pound set I figured was probably good enough. They were, I think, $45 a set Canadian. I got a coupon for it. I ended up getting them for about $31 and change Canadian. So pretty happy about that. So time to install them now. I'm up a ladder to do this. The template has places for 3 holes top and 3 holes bottom. And it says to use the 2 outside ones if your legs are wide enough and so that they will be more stable. If your legs aren't wide enough, it says use the 2 center ones. On this leg here, I'm going to use all 3, this front leg, because it's a double wide leg. On the back, it's only one 2x4 width, so I'll be using the center screws on the back. I'm just going to show you mounting this one right now. Line up the template with the floor. I've got my awl, just punching holes in the center here. Of course, make sure you get the caster mounting on the right way up or down. I almost did that wrong. It's a thing I do. And we just got to screw the wheel on now. That little cheapy wrench they gave us is actually going to be very useful because you're going to just barely be able to get that wrench in on this part of the wheel where the tightening nut is here. So glad they included that. And there we are, one wheel installed on the bench. I'm going to go off camera, install the other 3 wheels, and we'll put this back upright and see how they work. The wheels are on, and it's working great. Rolls around wherever I need it. I can put it over here where my usual home is, and kick the wheels up. Nice and solid. Like I said, I tightened up all the nails. I'm out of time for today, so next video I'm going to get the top off, deal with all the things I'm going to do for that. Like I say, I probably will plane it, run it through my planer, and then I will edge the sides and laminate this back together, probably with an extra piece of wood. So I will be starting with that in the next video. The other thing I'll do once I get that glued up is I will put those screws in the joints just to tighten it up. But to be honest, it's pretty good the way it is right now. I can shake it a little bit back and forth. If I were planing on this bench with a hand plane or doing something, putting a lot of pressure, it does not move at all. That's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. Check my band One Soul Thrust. The links are in the description below as always. And until the next video, we'll see you.